Hello, my name is Hwang Jung-hyun. I'm a doctoral student in English literature at Yonsei University. Are you thinking of this question, where is Yonsei University? Yonsei University, where is it? Since its founding in 1885, it has continued to develop as one of the best schools in Korea. Over 100 years of history, my school has produced many scholars and politicians representing Korea. Yonsei is famous for the school of Yoon Dong-ju, a poet whom we Koreans love very much. Oh, I hear your questions. Do all Koreans use English? Is English the official language of Koreans? No. In Korea, there is a beautiful native language called Hangeul. Yes, Korean is the language that has been used for thousands of years on the Korean peninsula. One of our kings made our language literal language. It was 1446. So since 1446, we Korean people have been able to read and write. So we have always been grateful and respectful to our King Sejong. So we love him very much, so we're always keeping him in our wallet. Do you want to see him? Ta-da! Here he is. Yes. So he's engraved on the paper money because he is very important figure for Koreans. Do you want to know the value of this paper money called 만원? When you come to Korea with this 만원, then what can you do? I think you can pay for a good lunch, reasonable lunch. So you can pay for one meal. So you've learned one thing about Korea today. Come to visit Seoul. So who has first created and developed your language? Are there any historical people or historical events that have had a profound impact on your language development? If you have a story to tell the world, please upload your video and let's share it. It'll be very exciting. But why am I sitting here in front of the camera? The reason that I came to YouTube to meet you today is because of this. Yes, do you see the book? It is called The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Yes. Have you ever read it before? Did you ever read it? Or I see some say yes and some say no. If you have already read this book, I think it can be very fun to think about the difference between your opinion and my opinion. And we may or may not have the same opinion. Well, that's okay. If you have not read it yet, then I hope that this video will be a nice suggestion so that you go to a library today to find this book or this weekend. I would like to introduce to you a few things about this writer, Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, he was born in Dublin, in Ireland, in 1854. So I think he was a very smart person. He went to Trinity College, Dublin, and majored in classical studies. And he won the scholarship to Oxford. So he went to Oxford there. He established a brilliant academic record. At Oxford, he met some of the important literary figures. He came under the influence of the aesthetic theories of John Ruskin and Walter Pater. John Ruskin and Walter Pater are the writers who wrote important theories and essays in English literature. After graduating from Oxford, since 1878, he worked mainly in London as a dramatist. The most famous play we know, have you ever heard of this title, The Importance of Being Earnest? The Importance of Being Earnest is regarded as his masterpiece, one of his masterpieces with this novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. He was called dandy at the time. What does dandy mean? Dandy means artistical and spiritual aristocracy. So dandies are a very sophisticated group of people. A dandy also means a man who wears very fashionable. Unlike the conservative late Victorian costume that preferred black or dark suits, he preferred colorful costumes. And he also liked to have a green carnation in his buttonhole. Here I want to give you a question. Why was it a green carnation? Yes. Was it because this green is the symbolical color of Ireland? So he came to England, London, to be a successful literary figure, to be a successful dramatist. But was there always a longing, a love for his country when he was having a green carnation in his buttonhole? And this green color represented his pride as an Irishman? Maybe, I think, yes. So, the Picture of Dorian Gray. Yes, I think this is a very interesting novel. Yeah, it is a wonderful, well-written Gothic literature. Yes, so here I have my first keyword, Gothic. Yes, this book has a fascinating, grotesque aspect. The interesting fact is there's no vampire or there's no ghost, there's no Dracula in the book, but how can this book maintain this fearful atmosphere, the Gothic aspect? The secret is there's a painting. The painting has a huge mystery in the novel. What mystery does this painting have? No, I cannot tell you. I don't want to spoil your joy of reading. I hope that you find out for yourself what mystery this painting has. Instead, let's think more about Gothic. In the 19th century English literature, Gothic was an important factor. I think the Gothic aspect of the 19th century English novel is one of the most significant reasons of 19th century novels' explosive popularity, its maximization of addictiveness in narrative. The Gothic aspect played an important role as an essential catalyst, the driving force for readers to stay in the story to the end. So, Wilde is better known as a dramatist, but as a novelist, he was very talented, I think. I can tell you this when I read chapter 1 in the novel. It gives us amazing novelistic allusions, those mysterious connotations and hints for the horrible ending that will follow in the last chapter, which is very shocking. When you read the last chapter, you'll be shocked. Actually, my favorite chapter is the last one. So I think it's possible not to read this book at all. It's possible, but I think it is impossible to stop your reading in the middle of your reading of the Picture of Dorian Gray. It is so fun. Yes, and as we move to the second half of this novel, you will know that it gets even more exciting. I mean, the Gothic aspect of this book will be maximized to the end. So yeah, you will love it. And so who would like to reject a scary story? Who can say no to a scary story? Not many on earth, I think. Yes. So Gothic was my first keyword. My second keywords are moral or immoral. So is the book moral or immoral? Yes, just like his famous artistic premise on art, the life imitates art. After this novel was published in 1891, in his real life, he met a young, beautiful man named Alfred Douglas, just like the same type of Dorian Gray type of young man. His literary principle, life imitates art, seems to have been implemented and reproduced in his real life. Wasn't it so strange? Because it was a very mysterious coincidence between his real life and his literary world. Yeah, so strange. So these two, Oscar Wilde and Alfred Douglas, since the first meeting, they became very friendly so soon. However, Alfred Douglas' father didn't like this friendship. So Alfred Douglas' father publicly insulted Wilde. What exactly he did was he dropped a very abusive card in Oscar Wilde's club. On the card, it said, he wrote, "Oscar Wilde is posing as a sodomite." Alfred Douglas didn't have a friendly relation with his father as a son. I think because Alfred Douglas encouraged Oscar Wilde to initiate the libel case. So Oscar Wilde sued Alfred Douglas' father. So finally, this famous legal conflict began between the two, Oscar Wilde and Alfred Douglas' father. Alfred Douglas' father, Lord Queensberry, his lawyer, Edward Carson, accused the book as immoral. Some scholars claim that Edward Carson couldn't find enough evidence in reality, so that he tried to connect Wilde's literary world and his reality to win the case. So literature, this novel, was at the center of the courtroom battle at the time. Until recently, many scholars take this case as an example when they are studying the connection between literature and law. Here, I think I can give you this question. What could this novel possibly have been suspected of being immoral by Edward Carson? When you think of this question, I want you to think of that Edward Carson and the lawyer and the jury and the newspaper people, all of these were the late Victorians who lived almost 120 years ago. So they had different standards of points of views and different standards of life principles and different standards of common senses from those of today. So my question, remember, is what moral of this book is distorted as immoral? So as you read this book, please think of those questions. My next keyword is the eternal beauty, eternal youth. The main character of this novel is Dorian Gray. He is a beautiful young man who has just turned the age of 20. You're in early 20s, then this is a period of time for everyone, the brightest and the most beautiful time of your life in your appearance, physically. Yeah. So the eternal youth and eternal beauty, I want you to think about what this means to humans, to us. In chapter 1, the book speaks as if youth and the eternal beauty is absolute principle for life. But as the story progresses, you will find that the book is giving us a different message. Personally, I think this is one of the most important morals that the book has. So please keep those 3 keywords in your mind while you're reading this novel. You remember my 3 keywords? Do you want to review? My first keyword was the Gothic aspect of this novel, and the second one was is the book moral or immoral, the question, and the third one was the eternal youth. Yeah, those 3 keywords, I want you to think of those 3 keywords while you are reading this novel. What time is it now? I think I have to go, but before I go, I want to give you my favorite lines in the novel. Some of the sentences in the novel have very deep and difficult and puzzling meanings, so it was really hard to get them 100%. But almost every sentence in the novel is my favorite, I can tell you. So it's very hard to choose only one part as my favorite. Particularly, I like the preface to the novel. Yeah. The sentences in the preface, they have interesting and mysterious symmetrical structures. The sentences in the preface are made of the magical combinations of simple vocabularies. And these magical combinations of simple and easy vocabularies invite you to the profound world of literature. I think the preface is the beautiful literary heritage in English literature. I will read my favorite part in the preface. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Those who find beautiful meanings in beautiful things are the cultivated. For those, there is hope. So, what hope are you going to find in the novel? And what beautiful meanings are you going to find in this beautiful thing? When you find them, please let us know. Okay, leave your video address below so we can go to visit you to hear from you. So until then, I say goodbye. Bye.